Hey there guys, we're taking a look at Dark Souls 3 running on the AMD Ryzen 5 5560U. And we've taken a look at this game before running on the 5500U, and now we're taking a look at it running on the 5560U. And now, of course, the differences between the two CPUs here is the fact that while this is Zen 3 based instead of Zen 2 like the 5500U, we are talking about a weaker GPU overall, with it being only 6 cores instead of 7, and we do lose 200 megahertz off the top when it comes to the clock speed of the GPU. And overall, we do get a pretty degraded experience here. Now, at the full 1080p resolution running with the lowest in-game graphics settings, you'll see here that we're not even breaking a 30 FPS average, with us barely being able to get above 20. But our 1% lows being in the mid-teens pretty much lets us know that this is not going to be a great experience, but it is at least relatively consistent. I was able to at least play it a bit just because of the fact that there were at least no super major fluctuations until you went into a new area and things had to load in. But even then, it's usually not too bad of an experience. It is at least consistent enough that you could potentially get used to playing like this. I just really don't know why you would want to play through Dark Souls 3 at just slightly above 20 FPS average. But then again, Dark Souls players are unique in the sense that finding ridiculous ways to play this game is almost half the fun for people. Now, unfortunately, my save for this game is no longer on the Steam cloud for some reason, so I just could not get it to sync, so I had to completely start over, and it did make it pretty difficult to just try to play this from the beginning and to get to anywhere meaningful. So I had to switch over to 720p to try to see if that could improve the overall experience. Thankfully, 720p does at least improve the overall experience enough that you'll be able to get 1% lows that are at around the 30 range, and our FPS average is going to be comfortably above 30, to the point where you're at least going to be able to play like this. It's not going to be an amazing experience, but I get the feeling that if you've played Dark Souls on the PC before, you're more than familiar with getting just a 30 FPS average in a game. So being able to get an average in the mid 40s pretty much means you're going to get a rock solid experience. Now, again, it's not going to be perfect. There will be the occasional stutter as you again load into new areas, but it really is kind of indistinguishable at this point. And the overall result that we get is just really rock solid. I normally will have difficulty with the bosses in these types of games. They're a real slog for me just because of the fact that I am not a Dark Souls player at all. But the level of performance that we got was so consistent that I didn't really struggle at all with this first boss. And in general, I was more than happy to continue to play the game like this. 720p might be a problem for some people. It is a really low resolution, and I was playing with this hooked up to a monitor, so it could be pretty obvious how low the resolution was. But if I was just playing with the internal display of a laptop or like the Neo Air, I don't think you'd notice really this resolution at all. That being said, with a mini PC, having this hooked up to a 1080p 144Hz display did kind of reveal a lot of the flaws in this low of a resolution, but I think in general you could probably adjust to this. Unfortunately, we don't really have the performance headroom to really activate something like FSR to try to overall improve the image quality for a monitor. FSR is just one of those things where if you just inject it into a game like this, it really destroys 1% lows. And with how responsive this ends up feeling, I think overall the better result is to just roll with the visual quality that you get like this and enjoy the consistent, smooth FPS. But anyways, I hope you found this look at Dark Souls 3 running on the AMD Ryzen 5 5560U useful. If you did, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.